Any other ideas for anything you found difficult in this project or didn't understand? Maybe any questions you have? Yes, Christine.
The last song.
The last one you found hard. Actions were a bit hard, but we mastered them, and you were nervous. You did really well. Ayub, do you have something you found challenging?
I found challenging look at every people performing in front of every people.
Performing in front of other people is always hard, isn't it?
Yes,
Helen.
I think we should do more practices putting it all together.
Yeah.
In the same way it would have been
in the concert. Yeah. Well, yes, I couldn't be more proud of you. Big pat on the back for everyone. Early on at the beginning of this year, 2018, I was recommended to get in touch with Vauxhall Primary School, and I went to meet Mr. Dennis, who was in charge of Year 3. He's the Year 3 teacher there. And we had a meeting to discuss what the kids could benefit most from this project, what they could get out of it.
Come out pretty.
He came up with loads of ideas. He was saying that they really, that they were a lovely group and were full of creative ideas, but they weren't so good at working as a team sometimes, that their kind of teamwork skills weren't fantastic.
And Lucas over here.
That is something that definitely music can have a huge empowerment in. You really need to listen to other people when there's music in the room, and you really need to listen to other people's ideas, and all these kind of things become very important. We are brave, we are strong, we will scare away the frightening fishermen. Yeah? Does that make sense?
And breathe, yeah, let everyone clap. And then shall we do a bow?
My aim with the whole project was really to try and engage the children in as many different ways with what we were trying to create. Obviously, every child will engage differently in something like a music project, and I really wanted to challenge myself to make sure that these children were getting as much out of this project as possible. So the story that they're working on at the moment was the Loch Ness Monster, and I just thought that was a fabulous theme because there are so many myths around it. It's been around for hundreds of years, this idea of this huge monster living in this place in Scotland that hardly anyone has been to, and it's very rural and remote. And there's all sorts of mysticism and interesting things associated with that theme. So we took that and we went in with really quite open minds. I really wanted the kids to influence most of my ideas about the project. And we just really had a big brainstorming session at the beginning and came up with a few characters, which were a very scary fisherman, a very friendly, helpful, kind elephant, and a female Loch Ness Monster. Very importantly, the children decided it was a female Loch Ness Monster who they said had a family, and she was trying to protect the family and all these very, very sweet things. And they actually wanted her to die at the end. They had this very big overarching structure which was going to have a sad ending. And we kind of didn't... Some of them wanted a happy ending, some of them wanted a sad, so we left it quite ambiguous, I think, in the song as to what happens to her at the end. But really they just had so many ideas that they wanted to get into the story. So I took the best parts from that, in my mind, the most interesting parts, musically musically interesting things. And we created 4 songs. One that was a kind of scene setting, so we created a bagpipe. And that was our scene setting, that was our beginning. And then we introduced the first character, who was the scary fisherman. And he was portrayed by the wonderful Ed, who is a countertenor. So it's always wonderfully surprising when he starts singing, because he's got this incredibly high voice. I am creepy, I am scary.
This is what Ed, how do you get your voice so high?
And then we had an elephant dance that was full of stomping percussion from a group of children who were in charge of that. came to the sort of the climax of the piece, which was the Loch Ness Monsters song at the very end. And that just started with a small group of children who were singing about how lonely this Loch Ness Monster was, being all on her own in this huge loch with no friends, and everyone thinking that she was really scary, but actually she was really kind. And the kids really clearly defined this conflict within her character, that she had, you know, she was a very kind, nice Loch Ness Monster, but that everyone thought she was scary. And I thought that was so fascinating, that they saw such a complex character in this particular Loch Ness Monster. And then gradually, as the rest of the class joined in the song became about how brave and strong they were, and that they were going to scare away the frightening fishermen. The whole way through the performance was little bits of existing quartet repertoire performed by the string quartet that I work with, the Bloomsbury Quartet, and I really saw that as a way to show the children that the work that they had come up with was on the same artistic level as any bit of existing classical chamber repertoire. I didn't want it to be seen as, oh, it's just children's music, it doesn't mean anything. For me, it was really artistically profound what they came up with. So we weaved this existing music in with what they had done to try and add to it and show how wonderful the stuff that they created was, and just to also give something else to this experience, to make it bigger than just a few musicians coming in. It was a few musicians who could also play together, and I think that was quite exciting for them. We got quite a lot of feedback that they loved seeing the quartet performing together. One last time for luck. Who will find a way, to help free? I find it hugely rewarding. As I said, it's a collaboration for me. It's really not this thing that I want to impart my knowledge. I think sometimes classical music is seen as quite stuffy and sort of above everybody else. And for me, it's really, music is about community.